Thanks out to Michael Cook, because a lot that's going on here on the video wouldn't happen without him. So thank you.
Yay, Michael.
Yay, Michael. Okay, and on the raffle, we have Harry Kelly and Nick. Are you going to be doing the newsletter, or have you still got Joe doing it? Oh, great. Okay. Good to have you here, Nick. Thank you. Okay, set up, kick down again. Everyone can stay behind. The faster we get it torn apart, the faster we're out of here. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
And now I'd like to welcome guests and visitors. Right behind you. Oh, sorry.
I believe this is the fourth time I'd like to introduce you. It's my pleasure to introduce Joe Churchill from the Sebastopol Area Senior Center, who will be our speaker today.
Okay, online. David, will you want to introduce Chris?
Everybody say hello to Chris Brocade, who's joined us online. Chris Brocade.
Hey.
Welcome.
He tells me he's doing projects down in Ecuador, and they've got a world grant getting started.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you all.
You-
And happy anniversary, Patrick and Ellie. What are you up to?
Yes, it is today. It's our ELLI.
Oh, is that
That'll be $10.
all right, $10 and I know I'll get notice for that too.
Just because it is today, we're gonna run up to Healdsburg to Willie Seafood restaurant. Eat that up.
What do I do?
Okay.
That's the TV. Where you control
You're in
the
sports
TV.
car?
That's us.
There you go.
The three items, we're going there too. This is really fun. So she's kayaking, I'm up in the sail.
So you gotta point it at the right age.
I'm a Klingon. Anyway, we're next Tuesday, we're flying back east to Rochester, and we're going to fight a portion of the Erie Canal, and so there are 20 villages.
I didn't go.
And then we're gonna do two great things. One is a blast from my past. We've always wanted to visit Cooperstown Hall of Fame. So we're gonna do that, but we're also gonna go to the Mecca of the bird world, and that's Cornell University.
All right.
And hang out there for a couple of days. So. And I just want to finish up by saying in gratitude for being with a wild child who takes me in lots of different places. I'm gonna pledge $10 for every year that we've been together. We've been together since '74, and I'm gonna make that available to the community fund.
Wonderful, thank you. And wow, you've really got a great anniversary plan. Michael and Jean, you've got one coming.
Those true.
Yes, we do.
And to celebrate, we combined our son's birthday with 2 days different, but years apart from our wedding. So we're having the family over on Monday for a barbecue and then we'll get together. So that's the battle plan.
Great, well, happy anniversary to both of you guys, wonderful. Okay, we have member anniversaries coming up. Joe and David and Dan and Marty, will you guys stand up for a minute? Wow, the originals. We're here because of these people. the clubs here because of these people. I'm just really excited to announce that and see it still here, and it's wonderful. And thank you so very much for making this happen.
I think the good thing down there, first, it's all really possible without Bruce Campbell and he's here, so I remember him, but what was really, it's really interesting is when Dan Needham joined us, and he was one of the members of the club, and he still is.
Great, thank you, Joe. Okay, Mary, come on up. Mary's going to do from Who Am I? We're going to learn all about Mary.
So, I was born in the LA area, to a Catholic family.
Microphone up here, Mal.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I was born, in the LA area, to a Catholic family. And, I had eventually, 4 brothers and a sister. When I was 5, my parents moved us to Southern Oregon, Klamath Falls, Oregon, where I grew up. Went to public school for the first 4 grades, and then went to Catholic school for the rest of my schooling, including through my first year of college at Holy Names, which I read recently has just closed. But then I finished my college. I went to LA State, and then eventually completed when I moved to the Bay Area to at San Jose State in environmental studies. Never really went into the field. And I never was very interested in a career of any particular kind. I've done various kinds of work. Probably the one that was most important to me was working at the Valley of the Children's Home, where I worked for 8 or 9 years with children in protected custody, children from ages 80s to age 18. Kind of a difficult place to work. A lot of sad stories there. A couple of tragic stories. And it still goes on. So a big focus of my my adult life has been health and wellness and personal growth. So I've been through various disciplines and modalities, explored a lot. I actually, when I was still living in LA, I got involved a bit with Scientology. Did a class there and found it to be a very valuable technique. I didn't get involved with the organization because it was kind of weird and controlling, and that didn't fit me very well. So, and I eventually worked with a guy who had broken off from it a little bit. So there was that experience, but I did find that the technique that I learned very valuable. I used it for a number of years. I also, when I was living in San Jose, got involved with the Berkeley Science Institute, yeah. And I don't really know what value I got from that, but I did that for a couple of years. And that was all about reading auras and doing classes with them. I went through Natalie Rogers' expressive therapy program, which was quite wonderful in Santa Rosa. Did various levels with her. actually got to meet Carl Rogers. Natalie's program was person-centered expressive therapy and involved working with arts, expressive arts and movement and that kind of thing. And I did meet Carl Rogers when he came to do a demonstration counseling with us, and I got to be the client. So that was kind of magical work with him, experience. I also did authentic movement with Janet Adler. She was one of the kind of second generation of movement therapists. And that was wonderful also. We would meet for a week at a time. I did that for 7 years out of the old schoolhouse in Bodega. And didn't see any birds, but that was kind of wonderful, wonderful experience working with authentic movement and her work. She did some important work with authentic movement. And I got involved with my spiritual. I got launched on my spiritual path probably about the early 80s, and that's continued to the present. That's an important part of my life. I've done a lot of class work, and I went through the Master of Spiritual Science program. Focused not on theology or belief systems, it's focused on spiritual practice, basically. Practical spirituality, living your life spiritually, bringing spiritual principles into your life. So I did that for 2 years, and then I went on to the doctorate of spiritual science and went through 5 years of that. And sometimes repeat that. It's the value in that is there's a lot of processing. So it's a program where you really kind of scour yourself out, and I found great value in it. And I have a wonderful spiritual family based in LA. One of the important principles of my spiritual practice is service. One of my teachers has said, service is the highest form of consciousness in this world. And so it's very much encouraged. People on the spiritual path do a lot of service, they're very much involved in service. And so that's kind of a guiding principle. And so over the years, I've done, a lot of various kinds of service, both with my spiritual group and in the community. One time I co-facilitated the attitudinal healing group. And that was in Santa Rosa for a year or two. I got involved with the hospital chaplaincy group, which is a wonderful organization where volunteers go into the hospital and just talk to patients. It's non-denominational, it's not really spiritually focused at all, but it's kind of based on spiritual principles, and it's just going and being present with people, allowing them to talk about whatever they need to. Sometimes it's important to them to, because when people in hospitals they have no control over what's going on, and they often can't talk to their families about what they really think and feel. And so it was just a wonderful kind of service to do. That program closed down. They as a result of lack of funding, as hospitals started bringing in professional chaplains. So they were no longer getting the funding needed for hospitals. So I'm sorry to see that go. I also for a time assisted in a kindergarten with a wonderful kindergarten teacher at Lincoln School. She taught kindergarten. When I started assisting with her, and I would just go one morning a week. but, she was teaching kindergarten, and then she started teaching the transitional kindergarten, which are the very young kids. And, working with those young kids is just wonderful. They're so open and ready to learn. And she was really good with them. So, do I need to? Okay, so,
Yeah, that's next week.
and then. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so the last thing I did was schools of hope, which was going into schools and, reading with, kids, second and third graders who needed assistance. And it was around that time that I learned about I read something about the Imagination Library, which, I asked United Way, which is doing Schools of Hope, if they would do that program. And they said no. So, so I had to drop that. And, now I'm proposing a friends club.
I know that's your passion, and we're going to have a whole presentation on that pretty soon.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, but we have another important thing to do, Mary.
I'd like to do red hat. Congratulations.
Totally permitted, oh my God.
Thank you so much, Mary. That was very interesting. You heard a fascinating life, but
Can I just say one thing? On June 14th, a representative from the Imagination Library will speak into our club on Zoom.
absolutely wonderful.
Why is it black?
We're, David, I know we wanted to talk about this. It's wonderful. We have $24,000 and that our club has raised and through the district grants and total of 27,607. So we can talk more about this next week. We're running out of time here. Thank you so much, David. And Sarah has a gift.
Ophelia.
Yes. Kind of. Yeah, I was going on here. So, when I fundraised for my Oceans Scholarship, I had no point expecting that I would have fundraised the whole amount, which I'm super, super grateful for. My parents are super, super grateful for. And then Ophelia started fundraising for her trip, and I talked back and forth with my parents, and I said, why don't we put some of the money you guys had thought to give me for my trip and give some of it to Ophelia for her concert? So from my parents and I, we were the best.
That is wonderful. And then we have some more of the tamales, wonderful tamales. I'm gonna buy some afterwards. So thank you, Ophelia, and thank you so much, Sarah. It's been a delight having both of you here. Okay, well, looks like there was Kathy and Patrick and Michael and Tess and Mary Ann and Bill. They did a lot of road cleanup, and it keeps the trash out of the creeks and makes our environment so much better. Thank you. And after the road cleanup, they went over and installed those lights. So now you can go into the storage unit there and see what you're doing, which is just great. Thank you so much.
Good lead, Bill.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, the community service that this club does is really quite amazing, everything we do here. And there was a hike on Monday and I had to miss it. I felt so badly about it, but it looks like it was just fantastic, beautiful. And I'll try to make it this next Monday. I think it's so much fun to get together with the group. Well, he keeps going, this is great. Thank you. Okay, again, we have the Blues, Brews, and barbecues coming up on June 3rd. And the next day, Stand with Ukraine, another opportunity to support the Ukrainian families. We worked so hard. I know David has just turned himself inside out to make this happen. It wouldn't have happened without him. But thank you so much. And do we have any announcements?
On June 11th is the Royal barbecue, and so I know I'm going to be there, Michael. You? Oh, yeah. And Kathy, anybody else? And Bill? Okay. Write your names. Thank you. June 1st, Thursday is graduation from Annalee, and they're doing project graduation once again. It's a set of activities that keep the graduates safe and having a lot of fun over the epicenter off Pioneer Root Coffee Road. And they probably need a few more volunteers. So if anybody's interested in doing that, let me know. We need people from the midnight to 5:50 a.m. It's not Thursday night, it's early Friday morning.
That's the same day as you was with the graduation also.
Okay.
No.
I don't.
It'll be in the morning.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm walking over to Jerry. So if you, everything is set for that Ukrainian fundraiser, continue to support the families that we've been supporting. And all we need now is people. We've got capacity for 350. We've sold maybe 70 tickets. I know folks will rush in at the last, but it's a little bit nerve wracking, as you know. So if you want to go, come on over with your camera. You can buy your tickets by using the QR code that's on this poster over here. And now, Jerry.
All right, so you all know that Amazon has ended their Amazon Smile program. But we got our last quarterly money, plus they gave a little bonus. I can't remember exactly, I'm not sure why, but we got a total of $55.90. Amazon Smile. So thank you to those people that did it. And you're welcome to contribute that amount to our community foundation in the future, because you can't do it with a Smile.
Okay, great. Any more announcements?
If I could make an announcement, you guys.
So like my badge, you know, that badge I wear, just asked me about Rotary. So I'm like wearing it everywhere. And some of us went to have lunch, and this really nice man, young man, like really good, comes up to me and he says, you know, I'm from Virginia and Rotary does so much for our community. I want to shake your hand for all the work you do. Oh my God, I felt like Terry Kelly's uncle, who when he wears his uniform, he can come up and shake his hand. Anyway, it was amazing.
Great experience, wonderful. Okay, well, I know we're all grateful. I'm gonna move on from this because we have a speaker. Oh, you have something to be grateful about?
Yeah, one.
What? Okay.
So many of you may have heard there's an annual Rotary International Convention that's taking place in Melbourne, Australia this coming weekend. And the global telemedicine people got a booth. And we have people coming to staff that booth and share, you know, what their project, but it's a very international group. So we have people coming from the Bahamas, from Nepal, from the US, and we think Kenya. We'll all be there kind of sharing a little bit about projects that have been involved in, and they've been working together to prepare. One of the group actually lives in Melbourne, so he's been a big help receiving the posters we want to put up on the walls of the booth and everything. So I'm just grateful that we have this crew that's willing to be there, and especially, you know, in the absence of one of our guys was scheduled to be there, but then he got sick and got in the hospital, and he's not in the hospital anymore, but was advised against traveling outside the US, so he had to cancel. So this is a major blessing for us to have this other posse that's already in transit. A lot of them are flying to Australia right now. That's great.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks so much. Okay, well, we're doing the food bank again every month. Today's the day, so if you want to volunteer, you can show up at the food bank and help pack food for the hungry. And I will email this out to you because we're not at the time. We'll move on. Next week, we have 10,000 degrees program. That'll be interesting with Eli. It's at Wednesday, I would imagine. And today, welcome Joe. Come on up.
That's a good introduction.
Thank you, everybody. Can you hear me, Simon? Before I start with my presentation, I just wanted to thank you so much for inviting me and to hear that your mission and the mission of the senior center are so enmeshed. And I do want to know that I spent 40 years in Maine. I escaped from a four city type of a thing and moved there when I was 17, and I ended in Oxford County, Maine, and that's where Project Graduation started. I just wanted you to know that. At least the title. So thank you very, very much for having me talk to you about the senior center. We kind of call ourselves the fun center, and a lot of people don't like the term senior because none of us think we're seniors, and we may eventually, but we probably won't ever change the name of it because a lot of people like the name senior center. But we really are a fun center, and you live here in the Sebastopol region, and I hope you know how unique we are here. And so I want to thank you for that part. So we focus on people 60 years and older, and again, a lot of people who are 50 years don't consider themselves senior citizens and may or may not come and visit us, but I hope your family and friends can tell them that we're really a fun center and services center, so that don't worry about that. But the boomer, greatest and silent generations, you know, we're 30% and out in the rural parts of Sonoma County, more, maybe close to 35, 36% of the population here. And people who many years ago, I guess after World War II, wanted places that can support people who are retired, and that's why senior centers started ever so long ago. But our mission really is to inspire our community to make sure that seniors are not forgotten. And I really never toned in to age discrimination at the upper ends before, but I've been starting to, and I'm really seeing it a lot. And what is important to me is, especially the boomer generation, which has been the largest generation in the United States, and you know, growing up, has created so much amazing things in the United States and beyond. And just because we're a little bit older doesn't mean that we don't have the value that we all have. You know, because I'm talking to the choir, you are sitting here being the vibrant who beats, and we just want to make sure that all people in the West County area, especially Sebastopol, have that opportunity. And that's Nick Benucci. Many of you probably knew Nick. I know he was a Colombian, not a Rotarian, but to me, they're all the same in terms of mission and civic duty. And he was one of our vibrant employees for so many years and passed unexpectedly last year. So we like to keep that for us. So what I'm gonna show you right now is a little bit of information. I'm not gonna read it to you about 2022, which was the year that people came back to the senior center. You know, COVID was still a big factor in the beginning of the year, but luckily for us, times have changed. So we were able to have at least 1,200 different individuals participate in all the services that we offer. And we almost reached that now in the first 5 months. It's just an amazing thing. But we do, this is some of the litany of things that we do. We have like one-time workshops, we have discussion groups. Our volunteer driver program is, some would say, the most important thing that we do to help people. Mostly now it's just for medical appointments to get to and from, so that people can still stay in the community once they're no longer able to drive. Our Harvest Cafe is, for us, it's not a nutrition program as it was back before COVID, when Council on Aging ran a nutrition program for people 60 and over. Ours is about socialization. It really is about making a forum for somewhat affordable lunch so that you can, you know, people from 0 to 99 and plus can come here and have a lunch and enjoy being with other people. And that's a really good thing, and it's by far our biggest program. We have a very vibrant LGBT program that offers friendship mixers, dances, support groups. We're participating again in the parade in Santa Rosa on June 3rd. And we are by far the largest LGBT support for people 60 and over in Sebastopol County and way beyond. So you can just see that other things we're doing our day trips again. We're so happy about that. Oops. There we go. Just the littlest bit about our revenue. Because of people like you and Rotary clubs, I'm trying to see the columns again. So 43% of our revenue, which is, when this one was just under 900,000, comes from foundations and people. 33%, 33% comes from the proceeds of the legacy secondhand craft store right down the road, which that is the most awesome thing that can help people so much. And 21% from either city, little county, federal grants that we've received. And you can see that 75 or 74% of our revenue goes to the staff that work, not staff, but programs and, you know, paying for instructors and all of that. So just January to April, we've already had, and that was April 30th, almost 1,000 people coming in unduplicated people. And we've had over 6,600 people or sign-ins, people coming in. So we are full all the time. We're actually struggling with making sure that we have enough systems in place to be able to help people as easily as we can. We've done the Harvest Cafe. The next most important thing for people are our array of exercise classes. We have Tai Chi, we have yoga, we have not exercise, meditation, we have walking, we have all sorts of things to keep people active. Probably the more important one is our sale balance program. Sales again for something I don't remember, but it's a comprehensive program to keep people from falling, because we all know that if someone falls, who's, you know, especially if you have any other vulnerability, it's the quickest way to have your life and your partner's life change forever. And we don't want that to happen. So we do everything we can to help people with that. We've already given almost 700 rides, and you can see the rest. In last year, our updated a strategic plan, and these are the 6 biggest things, basically to keep as vibrant with our programming as possible. And then the number 2 is basically the newest area, and that is for our center to be a resource for caregivers. Now, many of you may already be caregiving for someone. It might be a parent, it might be a spouse, it might be a friend that isn't able to be in the world all by themselves. They need some supports. A lot of people we are finding don't consider themselves to be a caregiver, but they're making sure people are getting medication, they're making sure people are getting their bills paid, they're doing so many different things. And we want to be able to help people at least find information. And we are not going to provide programs, our building is too small, but we can provide a lot of, educational programs, support groups when needed, and then most importantly, referrals so that people can go on their way. What do I do? My partner is being discharged from the hospital. My life has completely changed. What's the first step? If you call us or go on a website, you can find that now. And we're going to be doing more things. So these are the different things that we're doing. In terms of the caregiver, on our website, it's pretty easy to find. Like I said, a bunch of supports to help you on your way. You can call us up and we can help you on that path. We just received a small grant from the state. The state, you'll be hearing about this next week if you listen to any media things. They have, I can't remember the name, they've got a funny name for it, but it's to provide caregiver education throughout the state, both for paid caregivers or for who we interact with mostly, the huge 5 million unpaid caregiver population in the state. So right now, we're doing our third of our first series of classes. Actually, the third one is today at 2:30, and it's a physical therapist. It's just an hour. It starts at 2:30, talking about balance issues when it comes to I think there's a term I don't even know how to pronounce it. Vestibular, whatever it is when. Thank you. Someone around here knows it, but all the different conditions that dizziness can cause you to fall. So we have 2 more sessions.
Which college?
Providing 3 more, something in the summer, something in the fall, something in early winter, that are basically hour and a half talks. Some of these, with this grant, we are spending $10,000, and what you get for $10,000 in professional video and editing is 7 sessions. So 7 of our sessions will be done very well, so they'll be archived on our website so that we're not pushing them out. You can access all these different things. So it's just a really good thing that we can offer the community. Again, we're not providing services, but we will provide you with education and get you on the path.
Well done.
Thank you. We're really happy about that. Okay, so like the Rotary Club, volunteers make our world go round. We only have 12 staff, of which almost half are part-time. But we have over 100 very active volunteers. In our Harvest Cafe, for example, that's Brenda. We have 2 paid staff in the kitchen, and then everyone else is a volunteer. So you're there, and whoever's serving you, they're all volunteers. And what I have found working at the senior center is that obviously we are getting tremendous value from volunteers, but the volunteers are getting an equal, if not more, value of bringing structure. This is what people tell me, bringing structure to their lives, just being able to interact and be part of something that's greater than themselves.
Yeah.
So it's this wonderful, wonderful win-win that, I'm really trying to pull this out and talk to people about it, because volunteering, as everyone here has already spoken, is really what makes Sebastopol and West County and our world be amazing. It's all synergy. So we do have a couple, if anyone is interested, and I know that you're already probably maxed out, but you might know people who maybe are newly retired or retired enough and they're ready for something. Our kitchen is a really fun place to chop vegetables. We have some slots there, like Brenda serving. We have some slots there. We have a couple for reception. These are the ones that are really big right now for us trying to recruit. So if you know anybody, please contact. We have a fundraising gala each year that usually nets us about $50,000. It's really important for our budget. This year, and we always call it Age to Perfection, which I love that title. This year it's Going to the Prom. So we're going to put on the biggest senior prom.
much bigger than any high school. And it's for any decade that you want to be. So if you graduated in the sixties and really like the fifties, you can come with your fifties outfit on, and it doesn't matter, whatever. We usually have a live band, but we're gonna have a DJ so that we can really get the spectrum of 1940s music to 1980s. You know, we're just gonna do it up really fun. So we hope that you come. We'd love to have you there, and we'll be having our stuff, and we hope you pass it around. Some of the new things that we're going to be doing, in the first one, I want to thank both Rotary clubs for helping us with setting up an herb garden in our front. We have most beautiful ornamentals, but and I'm the biggest gardener around, but we needed to be able to provide some gardening space for herbs is the biggest thing, so because we want to use them fresh at the Harvest Cafe. So it's there now. I was just speaking to Dan, that when I planted these itty bitty little things in these great big garden beds, I was thinking ruh-roh, but they're already triples in size. This is just amazing. So we'll be using them next week. Thank you. So we're hoping. A retired physician has helped us to have a small spot. It's actually a big spot, but you know what I mean. It's for his garden. It's a small spot to plant tomatoes and some other things because we don't have enough room in the front. It's too big. So we're hoping that we'll have a lot of fresh garden produce in the summer for the cafe. It's just a great thing. We just love all of the stuff that's happening. One thing I'm going to tell you, I still got a few minutes, is again, the most wonderful things happen because of people like you. And one of the persons like you is a newly retired person who maybe moved here less than a year ago. And she had this mission to join up with this entity called Cycling Without Age. And what they do is they have organized themselves, and there's probably like 1,300 of these throughout the country, of the world, started in Denmark, where a specially designed, they call it a tri-show, but it's like a big bicycle with 2 wheels on the back, and it's electric powered, and it has like 2 wheelchairs in the front, or they look to me like wheelchairs. And the goal is to take people who are homebound out on a bicycle ride. And when she decided to move here, she knew that your Rodota Trail is off road. We got to be able to do this. These bicycles cost $10,000 a piece, and this gal donated one. We just got our insurance to say yes. And sometime, hopefully this summer, after we train some volunteers, we will be starting to take homebound people out for an hour or whatever amount of ride, and be able to experience being outside and feel the wind and feel the sunshine. So it's just a great collaboration, and I hope that you'll wave if you see us trying to do that. It's a great thing. So that's what I have. This is some of our board members, actually all of our board members at the parade of the apple blossom. So anyone have any questions? Yes.
I just want to thank you guys. 2 things. So when Richard broke his foot, you guys gave him, I was it the knee, I think you lent him the knee walker. And then another thing, you said the most common reason why people, I won't say men, but I think it was men, that they fall is you're putting on your pants when you're standing up. No, really. And they said you should always sit down when you're putting on your pants. It's the #1 reason you fall and break something. So I've never forgotten that. Thanks for all you do.
So true.
Just don't wear pants.
So my smart, capable, savvy mother was a victim of fraud. And she gave them the keys to the castle on her computer. So I'm sure you're already doing financial smarts about scams, but I can't encourage you enough to really drive that home, because we actually had that conversation many, many times, and I couldn't believe it still happened.
Well, I want to say that I did not pay you to say what. But on June 21st, and I think it's starts at 2 or 2:30. Jill Ravitch, our new board member and past district attorney here, and the police chief are giving a lecture. That lecture is going to be a conversation exactly about that, and what they saw, what they're seeing, and what to do. So thank you. And all of our members receive 4 or 6 times a year, something in the mail that shows a lot of our programming. And then everyone else who is interested at all can get a free email once a week that has all of our programming on it. And if you go to our website, which is first down maybe a quarter of the page, you'll see you can sign up for, we call it an e-blast. But I just wanted to know, there's ways, I hope we're pushing it out to you, and so that you can, anyone here who has an interest in the fraud issue. Speaking with Jill, she says that fraud is the biggest thing. A lot of it done by family members, and a lot of it done by computers and stuff like that. So that people to fear when people become vulnerable are family members and those electronically weird phone call fraudsters, and that's basically what the conversation is going to be about.
Thank you, sir.
He is fast.
I was intrigued by by your mention of one program that you have that's about senior balancing. Can you give us a 1 minute on it?
I'd be glad to, and thank you again. It stands for something, and I don't know what sales stands for, but we operate it twice a week. It's to a person, they'll come in and say, I'm here for my exercise class. But for us, it's a comprehensive balance improvement program. So we do a screening to see where you are. We have one that's called chair sale for people who really need to hold on to a chair while they're doing something to strengthen their body. And some of it may be sitting. Currently, we're just doing that on Zoom twice a week. Then we have a standing one for people who, can do some different things. It's all about improving and maintaining balance. Right now, we're also in the process of training a couple other people because we want to have a live standing one. We also want to have another, our room is full, to have another one. So it's really important. I think we charge $5 a session. It's really very affordable. And it can help people because of the assessment and the ongoing work with each person. Thank you.
No, so, go ahead. Oh, no, I have to defer to Mr. H.
So who runs the balance program?
Julie Smith.
It is Julie. As everyone here knows, we are suddenly caregivers, so to a one-legged 90-year-old Marine. An amazing balance, but it's not perfect. Sebastopol Senior Center is the longest continuously operated senior center in Sonoma County. There's others who will challenge you on that point, but for over 50 years, it's providing service to seniors in this area, various forms of service. But I think that's really something to be noted, and you made tremendous changes, things we thought were going to be possible. The Harvard Cafe and recapturing the kitchen is one of the big ones. So congratulations on all you're doing. Nice job.
Thank you very much.
Well, there's just the one sort of feel good note that I wanted to add in, and my people. No, my wife doesn't do a lot in the community, but she did volunteer for a while with an agency whose initial I don't remember, but it's a county-wide agency, and they put on programs, and they know all the senior centers in the county. And a friend she made there is Mona Kana, now lives in Oakmont, but you know her because she drives from Oakmont to Sebastopol to participate in the programs at the Sebastopol Senior Center. So it is unique. We have a wonderful center that outshines most of the other senior centers around.
Thank you very much for that. I do want to make one comment that because I'm standing here and I didn't see it anymore. The moment I saw that you're still offering these by Zoom, I wanted to cry. We are trying, we just got a couple more little pieces of equipment to offer as many of our programs, both in person and remotely, because people, it's sometimes just easier for people to access things that way. And our health trainings are also virtual right now too. Thank you so much.
One moment. I want to thank you very much. Gotta come back. Joan, I want to thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, I think I got the.
Extended by tickets.
You know, I want one other thing first. We have a secret word, and I'm gonna ask, let's see, who should I ask for the secret word? Bill Sauber, what's our secret word?
Rumpelstiltskin.
No.
Sorry. And
She's ignoring you.
here.
You got a secret word.
Yes.
Going here.
Bill, your secret word of Rumpelstiltskin. My wife's first job when we lived in Vegas, worked for a urologist. And they 1 year gave me a t-shirt and a nickname, and that was Rumpel Foreskin.
Okay, so we have a drawing.
Only 7 tickets.
And there's a lot of money.
It's kind of like one that's maybe $7 so far. But the last one got pretty hot, and no one always asks about common person in the room. Well, thank you. And thank you. The winning number is 214. What do you have to 4? 1, 9, 6.
Check his hand.
197, so.
Check his hand. Don't make you stop. But he put me out. Red number.
All right, I'm gonna get to the right call. So, everyone see the red mark on the party? See the red mark? Okay. Yeah, right.
A lot of dog food in that
All
case.
right, don't look at it, close your eyes.
Hey. Is it square?
This one.
Maybe you'll win something. Okay.
That was worth the buck.
Yo, you have a joke for us.
I do. Thanks for asking.
I think the best.
So, it's really like a lot in the community, as we know, but there's a major chess tournament that happens, and it happened to be all the participants were staying in the hotel, and they were bragging about their accomplishments, and they were in the hallway there and talking, and finally, the manager went up to them and said, "You can't stay, you have to disperse." So they all got kind of grumbled and they left. One of them said, "Well, why? What are we doing?" He goes, "I can't stand chestnuts both in an open foyer."
Okay, Mike, I'm gonna ask you to lead us in happy trails today.
flag of